Hello everyone, my name is Joe and I smell good. Thank you for joining me today. I want to do part one of a two-part series, maybe more in the future, but I want to talk about flankers and the role that they play in fragrance. I basically have two complete lines of fragrances, and I put quotes around that because now companies are constantly releasing flankers every year, something new. But I have two examples and I want to talk about them because I think they approach flankers from a different perspective in both cases that I think is pretty interesting. So today I want to talk about Azzaro's Wanted series. So what is a flanker? Well, to tell you what a flanker is, I have to first tell you what the thing that it is flanking is. In this case, Azzaro Wanted is the first fragrance in the Wanted line from Azzaro. Every fragrance that came after that, subsequently, in the Wanted line, we call a flanker. Now, what is the purpose of a flanker? Well, that's the point of this video. I think that there are two main reasons to have flankers. That's actually not true. I think there are three main reasons why you would have a flanker. The obvious first reason would be if you were wanting to use brand recognition and name recognition in order to sell something new. So, an example of that might be a company that releases a new fragrance every year, but maybe it's special edition fragrances where they're not really changing a lot about them, or might just be a situation where they're kind of making small adjustments and slightly updating the formula and something and then calling it a new fragrance in the line. The really popular thing, it seems like for this year and last year, from what I gather, is to release parfum versions of eau de parfums or eau de toilettes. There's an example of that in the line that I'm talking about today. I don't actually own the Most Wanted parfum. I only own the Most Wanted eau de parfum. But let me go through each of these and talk about them on their own, and then I want to talk about why I think that this is an interesting and good approach towards flankers. First off, we have Azzaro's Wanted, the original fragrance in the line. This, to me, if I were to compare it to something, I would say that it strikes me as a modern take on Obsession. It doesn't smell exactly like Calvin Klein Obsession, but to me it smells like if they were to make Obsession today as a brand new fragrance, I think this is what it would smell like. This is, it's got a lot of citrus in it. It has amber and Haitian vetiver as well in the dry down, so it's got a little bit of spiciness going on, a little bit of grassiness going on. This to me is a very mass appealing, acceptable fragrance in pretty much any situation. It's clean, it's bright, it's refreshing. It does have mint in there as well, which gives it a little bit of a cooling impact. So this is a pretty inoffensive fragrance. I think you can wear this in pretty much any situation and it will be perfectly acceptable. Next up, I want to talk about Azzaro Wanted Tonic. Every reviewer that you see talking about this will typically say they like this one, but not as much as the other ones. I am going to take the bold approach to say I think this is probably my second favorite one. I certainly think this is probably the most mass appealing of all of the fragrances in there. It's the most easy to wear. To me, this one shares some similarities with the original Wanted. It's got some of that citrus in it, some of that spice in it. The dry down on this I think is especially interesting, and it isn't very talked about, but I think there's a very interesting dry down in this that's kind of like it's not leather, but it feels like it's going in that direction. This to me is one of the best easy grabs for spring and summertime. You can wear this in pretty much any time of the spring or the summer. This is a great gym fragrance. It's not soapy, but it is very clean. I'm a huge fan of this one. Love it. Next up, I want to talk about what I think is probably the most popular one of the bunch, and I think for good cause. It's Azzaro's Wanted by Night. This one is characterized by orange in the top. It's also got a lot of cinnamon, which sets it apart. This is, as the name suggests, kind of more aimed towards being a date night fragrance. It's a little bit richer. This is the kind of fragrance that you want to cozy up in. It's not biting, it's very fresh, but it also has that kind of deeper spice to it. And as you wear it on, it mellows out into this kind of vanilla-y, sort of tonka bean sort of scent that goes really well with the orange and the cinnamon. There's cardamom in here as well. All in all, I see why this is a popular fragrance, because it's a great date night fragrance, and it seems like that's the big point of a lot of fragrance people, is to smell good for the opposite sex. So as far as that goes, this is a good one. Finally, I want to talk about Azzaro's The Most Wanted. This is the last of the flankers I have. I don't actually have the Parfum like I mentioned before. This one right here is one of the most interesting ones to me, and I'll tell you why. So this was actually sent to me free for review, and my experience prior to this was basically just Old Spice deodorants, not the spray ones, but the deodorants, and like Tommy from the 90s. That was pretty much the only thing I wore. So smelling this, which is like a very rich, sweet, spicy, deep, heavy fragrance, it was completely new to me. Like, this is not something that I've smelled on men before. I understand that there are a lot of fragrances out there like that, but I'm kind of new to this space. So this to me was a big shocker. This right here is why I started down the road of fragrances. I think this is a super interesting fragrance. This is unlike anything I'd ever smelled before. So I kind of just wanted to learn more. As I learned more, I kind of got enraptured by everything. As far as the fragrance itself goes, this to me maybe even feels more like a date fragrance than I would think of as Wanted by Night. This is like such a wonderful, rich, creamy, sweet fragrance. It's the kind where you just want to keep coming back for more and more smells, and the way that it projects off your skin when your body heat warms it up is so delightful, so pleasant. I really enjoy this one a lot. So flankers, the whole point of this video. What is the point in marketing these under the same family of fragrances? Frankly, except for these two, which kind of have some similarity, these two don't really share a whole lot of DNA with the original Wanted. So why call them the same thing? Well, I think what Azzaro has done here with these four in particular, I know there's Free Ride, which is a special edition. My understanding is it's basically just a repackaging of this one. But if anyone can get me a bottle of Free Ride, or tell me where I can get a bottle of Free Ride, I would love to smell it. And The Most Wanted Parfum, which I think is a little bit redundant. If you have this already, you probably don't need that one. But with these four, I think they've covered all of their bases. I think you can pretty much wear this as a daily driver if you wanted. All year round, you could wear this in the office. It's not going to be offensive. This is fine for going out on dates and things like that. You're not going to offend anyone. And it's a really pleasant, modern smell. It's a little bit sweet, but not overly sweet. This one doesn't get talked about as much as the other ones on the line, but it really is strong. I really like this one a lot. And I think that it is a fragrance that you can wear without having to think too much about it. I think Azzaro Tonic is perfect for spring, summer, gym. So it covers multiple seasons that you could wear this, multiple locations. I don't know if I'd wear this one on a date. It doesn't smell very date-y to me. It smells very more clean. But I really like this one a lot. And like spring and summertime, like I was pretty much wearing this for a month and a half straight early on because I got it and I just liked it so much. This one is so much better than it gets credit for. I think this Wanted by Night is a fantastic fall fragrance. It doesn't just have to be for date nights. I think that you can wear this in the fall and the winter and you're going to be pretty well situated. The fragrance will cut through the air. You're not gonna smell like a pumpkin spice latte, but it has some characteristics of fall that you associate with the spiciness and the creaminess and the sweetness of a lot of what you enjoy in the fall. So I think Azzaro's Wanted by Night is a fantastic fall and winter fragrance. And I think kind of in the same tone, The Most Wanted just doubles down on that, and it kind of takes away some of the spice and just puts in a little bit more sweetness and a little bit more richness. Like I said, I kind of think of this more as a date night fragrance than I do Wanted by Night, but I think either one would work. The point is, with all four of these, which you can get online for $30 to $50 a piece basically, but with all four of them, you have a fragrance for every situation and every season of the year. So if you just wanted to do, I see a bunch of videos going around right now that are like 4 fragrances, for $100 or whatever it is. This is pretty close. You'll get pretty close to that with this, and these work excellently to cover all of your bases. I mean, I can't think of a situation really in which you're not covered with these. Because even if you go to a formal event in the summertime, I think you could totally do this. It would totally be acceptable. You'd smell professional and clean. I think you'd also do this. I don't think that this is too heavy to wear in the summertime, especially at night. If it's a very hot day outside, you might not want to wear this one just because it's a little bit sweet. But I mean, honestly, that's kind of the point though. I think this is a really interesting way to approach flankers. You have different fragrances, but they all kind of accomplish one mission. In this case, I think Azzaro is covering your bases by giving you something to wear all year if you buy all of the flankers. I think that's different from other flankers that I'm going to talk about, where I think maybe they're going for a more artistic approach to a certain scent profile. I think in this case, Azzaro is saying you can buy all these and you'll be good for the year. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you guys for joining me. Please hit like and subscribe. That does help me out. Leave a comment below. I'm almost guaranteed to respond to it because you'll be the first one. So thank you so much again. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I certainly have been. And join me for the next video. Thanks. Bye. It smells. Oh man, I love these so much. They really are good. Like, you should just buy them all. I know every reviewer says to smell before you buy. I blind bought all of these except for this one, which was given to me. I blind bought all of them and have zero qualms, regrets. I mean, they're not that expensive either. Like, I think this is probably the most expensive one because for some reason they've discontinued this, maybe? I'm a little bit wondering what's going on with this because if you go online to discounters, you're having a hard time finding Wanted by Night, and my understanding is it's like the most popular fragrance in the line. So it would be weird to me that Azzaro would be canceling it, but who knows?